Hello everyone, welcome back to another video where civilization starts over. We're on episode 14 now, and in the last video we saw many things happen, but the most interesting event that will be continuing in this video will be the start of World War One, or as I'd like to call it, War of Ideals. But if you like the series so far, please like and subscribe, as it would mean a lot for me. I'm on road to 50 subscribers by the end of the year, but I'm trying to get 100 subscribers. So it would be nice if you would like to subscribe, but let's get into the video. So the first event of this video will be some new members joining some alliances. So we'll be looking up here at this pretty tiny nation. They will be joining up with the Russians in the Cross Alliance. We'll be also seeing another nation, the Banana Nation, right here. They will be joining the Russians as well. But now we'll see the Diamond Alliance, they will be also expanding a little bit. So in the Diamond Alliance we'll be seeing this Pink Nation, they will be joining the Diamond Alliance. We will also be seeing the Red Tunisians, they will be joining the Diamond Alliance. So will this other Roman nation. But then this nation, it's a very interesting nation, as it's been quiet ever since it was created. But it's time for it to make an choosing side, as it's surrounded by nations, so it will end up choosing the Diamond Alliance. Now these changes will change very much, as now, yeah, we're going to see the Turkey, they're going to get pushed back in Greece, as we both see Roman support now arrive as along with this this nation, their support also. So we basically see a lot of, we see many troops getting circled here, couple 100,000 I would say. They all get killed or captured. But then we see a fierce naval battle begin in this sea right here, where we see Turkish and Greek warships battle it out. But looking down here, we'll be seeing the Turks. They'll be making a landing in Cyprus, taking control of the whole island pretty quick, before moving down here, starting front into the pink team. But it's at this point where we see Persia, they successfully mobilized their army, as they now send it through into Turkey here, pushing right through, capturing this major city. But over here we also see some Indian retreat, as the Banana Nation, they has joined the Cross Alliance and are basically ready to invade Indians. So we see India, they will be retreating, but not too much, just retreating from these areas and setting up defenses. But they will begin to set up people here, blocking the Banana Nation's invasion. But we'll be looking over here, where we see this nation, they will be actually pushing the Indians back. As we see the Indians start to flee these areas, as they now need to focus over here. We also see them retreat from Ethiopia, but holding on to this island. Looking back at Caucasia, we'll be seeing Turkish forces continuing up here, capturing yet another major city, before continuing up this coast. And we'll see the Russians do the same, capturing one major city, before we basically see this nation being surrendered. But looking over here, we actually see some we'll be seeing Russian troops still be entering into this Caspian nation, as they're now finished with Caucasia. Alexander Fedorov is still in Romania, fighting in this front right here, where he will be starting another spearhead, capturing the capital city actually, before his troops just rush down. And they will be starting to set up defenses around the capital city, as it's the most important area of this nation. But they also will be sending through some troops over here, meeting the border with this Yugoslavian nation. But over here we'll be seeing the Germans, they will be actually having huge success down here, capturing 2 major cities before taking all of this land. And we just see the Germans, they're really good at this war stuff. But now we'll actually see the Russians still be pushed back now that many more nations have joined against them. So we'll basically see them being pushed back, the capital being reclaimed by the Romanians and 2 more major cities being lost. But up here we actually see Norway, they'll be taking back their capital and pushing the Germans all the way out of Norway and even reclaiming the northern areas of Denmark. Moving back over here at the Asian front, we see Korea, they managed to push back the Japanese now that they're not in shock anymore, as they have regained their, they regained control. The people are not as panicked anymore. As we see the Koreans, the India's the third strongest nation, but these guys I would say is like top 5, but they will be pushing back the Chinese as well, pushing them like that and pushing them all the way out of this area, before turning up here and pushing the Mongols out of these 2 major cities, before sending many soldiers up here to push back in the north. Moving up here, we'll see this blue nation. They will be invading into empty Russian land, as they now want to do something, so they will be sending in their very tiny army and making a lot of land progress, as the Russians do not have their military deployed. They only have it around these areas, so all of everything past this line they have not prepared anything on. So basically see these guys, they will have a very nice day capturing city after city. And yes, the Mongols are not invading Russia because they don't see a need to why. They need to focus on the big threat, that being Korea. And back over here, we'll be seeing the Turks. They'll be making some big progress into here, capturing 2 major cities in the north, before getting stopped, as they now need to focus over here. As we see Persia, they'll be gaining a lot of land in Turkey, making it all the way up here, causing the major city of Caucasia to break free and reform the Caucasian nation. But do not worry, as we see them push up here, before we see Russia come down and take all of this, and Russia takes all of the Turkish claims and sends reinforcements to Turkey to push back the Persians all the way to something like this, liberating that city before they push them back like that. Over here we'll see the pink team, they will be taking back these 2 major cities and pushing the Turkish back almost to the border, before they'll be sending their navy out here and making a landing in a very weak Ethiopia, making 2 landings, one there and one here in the African part. And in the African part they will lose really quickly, as they were not expecting any battle on their mainland. So we basically see them losing very much, as we see 3 major cities being captured in just a couple of days. And see India, they'll be landing here after the Wagner soldiers have perfectly set up defense like that. So they now re-enter here with the OG Middle Eastern nation's help. So they will be basically, their goal is to take down this African nation, to basically finish this Eastern African front. It'll be very easy, as the Indians now land over here, pushing down and capturing this major city before this one too, and they basically just move across the nation using any important roads to their advantage, as they're obliterating everything. While moving up here, we'll see the Middle Eastern nation, they will be taking all of this and remaining areas here, as they now push more soldiers over here, crossing here, over here, making landing here, and just pushing outward as they The Ethiopians are basically dying. Their government is gone, it's missing, as the Middle Eastern nation entered their capital, and we see them capitulate. So we see Middle Eastern troops enter into this, like, Yemen, no, or is it? I don't know, Yemen or Oman nation. So we'll see them quickly enter the capital before setting up defenses, like that. For looking back over here, where we see Indians actually make a push up here, taking this major city. And they also push over here in the south along the coast, taking this major city as well, as they just start to slowly make advances. But looking back over here, we see that this isn't going as well. As this nation, it's basically falling. Without the Russians being there to help, they would basically be dead, as their capital is captured. And yeah, it's not looking good. Around here we actually see the Greeks still manage to take back Crete and this remaining island before making a landing over here, capturing all of this. Just take control of this whole thing and just start to push up. As they push closer over here, pushing up to this major city, and we are seeing repeat of what happened in the Great Mediterranean War, where you see the Greeks landing mainland Turkey and then everything just fell apart. But that will not be happening. As we see, Greek troops will come over here, pushing them away from the south before retaking this major city and pushing them very far back, but the Greeks still hold control over that major city. Gonna look over here, as we see the Russians still be continuing their advance through the mountains over here, taking this major city before taking all of that. Before entering into this nation, to this Caspian or Kazakhstanian nation, as they push through here, capturing this major city, and this causes them to withdraw from this over here completely. As we see Russian troops and exiting from over here, encircling a lot of soldiers over here before us continuing down south. Looking back over here, we'll actually see Korea. They will manage to push the Mongols completely back to the border over in this region over here, and also here before just pushing a little bit back over here. They'll also be quicking out the Japanese completely from the peninsula over here, and the Chinese even making landing and capturing this major city. Back here to Africa, we'll actually see the start of the Morocco-Tunisian wars. As we see the Tunisians still be entering in up from the north here, as we see them having great success capturing 3 major cities in a couple of weeks. But the Tunisians will invade from the south, capturing 1 major city really quick, as we see them like trading cities. But that is, of course, before we see the Germans continue up here in Scotland, taking very much and even causing the nation to capitulate completely. Yeah, Scotland is now out of the game. Looking back here, we actually see these guys still be losing even more ground, as we see more and more land being lost from them. We then see India. They'll be making a landing over here, taking back this major city and here, and just setting up defenses then from here, as they continue down the coast over here, making a good connection like this. But looking back at Russia, we see some people, mostly over here in these areas, are not defended properly. We see many people want to rebel away from Alexander Fedorov, as they believe he's a bad leader, making his nation join in this huge war, the war of ideals. But Alexander Fedorov knows that he won't survive to the end of the war. Not many nations will, not many leaders will. But yeah, looking back at this nation, we'll see them continue just pushing deeper into Russian land, as Russia has not put any soldiers here, as I've said, or down here they have, as they're helping this nation, but over here more in the not as populated areas, not many soldiers at all, leading to this like very weak nation pushing back very much, even making naval landing up here, taking all of these areas, even crossing the Ural mountains over here, capturing the coast. While looking back at the alliance layer, we'll see a new nation join, and that will actually be Iberia. Yep, the second strongest nation will be joining the war on the Diamond Alliance side, and this is just to like stop the Russians, as the Russians, they're not losing but they're not winning either, as they have lost more land than like taken land. So yeah, but then we'll be starting to see our first sign of revolution in the Russian Empire, and that will be over here, as we see basically this nation, they will just roll back in, they will just come back and start to just come back and proclaim independence from the Russians, this time at a larger scale. But the Russians don't care as much, as this land is not as important as the main European parts are. But this is the start of, but this is the first time we've seen rebellion in the Russian Empire, you could say. But down here we actually will be seeing a bigger pushback, and this will lead to Alexander Fedorov being like encircled in this area, as you see more and more soldiers die, more Russian soldiers lose in this massive Romanian offensive, pushing back all of these soldiers, even pushing back over here. You see the Romanians even invade out a little bit into here and even into Russia. But moving back here where Alexander Fedorov is, we'll actually see him jump onto a boat that leaves from here over to the Crimean capital, as we see this area be completely retaken back. Moving back down here, we see this nation. They'll be making a crossing over here, capturing much land, even this major city. As it's not going too good for Turkey, they need to let go of their claims here in Caucasia. They have lost the Balkan War. They only have Turkey, or they have Cyprus, this land. They've lost a little bit to the Persians. So yeah, it's not looking too good. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's the Caspians. They made a landing in Turkey here. Oh, they're even pushing to this border. What's that? They're taking over Caspian land from the Russians. Oh well, I think you're in quite some trouble, Turkey, as we now basically see the Russians retreat from here. Yeah, these are some weird times. Very weird times. So we basically see the whole Russian front over here fail, including over here. The Russians are just starting to fail now. There's no like real answer to why, but they're just starting to fail. As we now see these guys re-enter into this nation, taking over toll. Before continuing into Russian land, taking this major city. But we also see them, of course, entering into this Caspian nation, as they are enemies, as they enter over here too, capturing this city before pushing up to this lake, using it as like a defensive line. But of course Persia won't like that, so they will be invading into this Kazakhstan nation, taking some land over the border here. Not too important land, but not too not important land. It's still kinda important as they capture one major city. And yeah, this war so far it's killed like 2 million. 2 million deaths have so far been confirmed in this war, and it's not even ended yet. But then we'll be looking over here at the Circle Alliance, as they will be joining the side of the Cross Alliance, and yeah, they'll be entering the war on the Russian side on the Cross Alliance. So we'll basically see, first of all, France, they will be invading into Brittany or Iberia here, taking over all of Brittany really fast before making a front over here. Reaching these mountains. Over here we see basically West England. They'll be invading up here, taking all of the Iberian claims in Ireland and also these parts. Moving back over here, we see the Iberians. They'll actually be invading into Morocco now, helping the Tunisians a little bit, pushing along the coast like that, weakening the Moroccans a little bit, as they do not worry at all about the French or the Circle Alliance joining. But down but down here in the African front, we'll see a new African front open up, as we see many just English troops and exit out and enter into Iberian colonies. As we basically see the African theater open up here, so just multiple millions of African colonial prisoners being used as soldiers. Moving back to Russia here, we'll actually see something that it's pretty weird, as these guys, they're full of nationalism right now. Like in this series right here, we see just random civilians grab any weapons they can to defend their city, as they know the Russian government has more important stuff to focus on. But then we see as Alexander Fedorov is in the capital city of the Crimeans. He's being treated right now at an captured Crimean hospital for his wounds after the great fail of Romania here. As we then see one of his most trusted commanders, one of his right-hand men, will actually stage a coup in the capital. As you see the whole capital fall, and as we see the Russian Revolution begin. When Alexander Fedorov hears about this, he's mad. He tells the soldiers to march up there, but they don't, as they have bigger things to worry about, as the Romanians just took over the whole front over here and started to enter into Russian land. As we then see the Romanians start to re-liberate these Crimean's northern parts over here, and Alexander Fedorov is now forced to move again while injured over here to Caucasia into this major city, as his so-called Eternal Empire is now basically falling. To see Finland just declare their independence back, and they send in their army to capture some land, as the Democratic Russia does nothing, as they're just trying to, yeah, it's not looking good for Russia. As you basically see, all of these parts connect up with each other and forming in solitary place here. And they've made their point clear. They have lied. This commander has lied. This is not a democratic rebellion. He's trying to become a dictator over this Russian Empire. He wants to reform the nation, but for that you need to remove Alexander Fedorov first, and that would be hard. So first you need to make Russia lose the war, which as it looks right now, they will. Moving back over here, we basically see the Caspian State taking over this whole coast, and starting to close in on the major city where Alexander Fedorov is held, as it does not look good for him at all. As we see Caspian troops start to enter into Russia, bring back these guys, as they now enter into Kazakhstan once more. And yeah, but moving over here back to Korea, we'll be seeing the Mongolians. They'll be regaining some land, capturing another major city before capturing this one, before they'll just be completely wiped off here, as we now basically see a Korean invasion into Mongolia begin as they capture this major city, and to start to set up defenses up there as more Korean troops start to enter the Mongolian nation. So now see India start to push through the Himalayas, but capture the capital of this banana nation, as they want them off, they want them away. They're really annoying, just slowly grinding down the forces over here. And yeah, so that would be all for this episode of What If Civilization Starts Over. The War of Ideals will continue the next episode too, and I'm planning on making the Peace Treaty its own video. But if you like this series so far, please like and subscribe. It would mean very much to me. And yeah, this war has changed very much. It went from the cross team looking as they're going to win to now the cross team looking to lose, as the Russians are in and basically losing as they're, yeah, it's not looking good for Russians. But that's all for this video. Goodbye.